In a day, a human mind creates 60,000 thoughts. 98% of those thoughts are in the category of waste or negative. We don't aim to stop or control our thoughts, we change the quality of those thoughts.
Welcome to Tribe Talks with Coaches. Hi, my name is Edwin. I'm the founder of Coach Fellas. Coach Fellas is an online marketplace for professional and life coaching, and our mission is to make coaching accessible for everyone. Today, I'm excited to have Avantika with us. Avantika Jain is a certified life and well-being coach. She has previously a McKinsey consultant, general manager at Fave, Pine Labs, has started 3 businesses and coached and mentored several startups and businesses. With over 3,200 hours of experience and proven success with individuals, teams, and leaders from Singapore, India, Indonesia, and Malaysia, she has distilled what truly works into impactful sessions. Her individualized and transformative coaching sessions are designed to help you navigate life's transitions, build successful relationships, achieve personal growth and professional fulfillment, all tailored for your busy lives. Welcome, Avantika.
Thank you for having me here, and I'm very happy to be part of Coach Fellas.
Thank you. So, first question, can you share your journey that led you to become a coach?
I think since the start of my professional career, and I started off as a McKinsey consultant, post which I did my MBA at INSEAD Business School. Naturally, because of perhaps a big alumni network in the two institutes, I would have seekers of these institutes, students who want to apply to for their MBA, as well as those who want to pursue the consultant career path. They would reach out for coaching and for help, and I started to enjoy that quite a lot. That was the start of a decade ago. And then through my professional career as in Lazada, and then as general manager at Fave, I would still have a lot of alumni of McKinsey and INSEAD, and professional networks that I had come into contact with contact me for opportunities, a lot of career opportunities, and I started to enjoy that quite a bit. Then I started to extend that as pro bono for startups, because I started my own company, and I helped my mother start hers, and my husband start his. So it was then that I had the startup bug bite me, and I started to really become. I was very passionate about helping startups succeed. And so this coaching, on the side, I have always done coaching, but I and reflecting back on my professional journey, those were perhaps the moments where I was the most satisfied and I was the most happiest, I would say, being there for others, helping others see them succeed. I started extending that to life coaching because I started to become very spiritual and pursue a lot of spiritual avenues and paths. So that added on. And then I just decided that those are my best moments in the last decade. And I just want to do that full time and always feel
Right.
satisfied and happy with what I do.
Wonderful, like the part where you say seeing other people succeed. I think that's such a wonderful feeling as a coach, right? So you mentioned career coaching. You also mentioned a bit spiritual. Can you share a bit more about your coaching approach and what would a coaching client come to expect from you?
I believe that every individual has a unique life story and they have unique challenges that they come with. So, my approach can't be a cookie cutter approach. It's highly, although I have methodologies that I work with underlying my coaching practices, but they are highly personalized. In fact, I understand that people have budgets, they have hours that they can spare for their personal development. And so I'm quite flexible with the hours as well as their budget. And so my packages that I design are again quite personalized. In terms of my core content itself, I use methodologies like cognitive science, epistemology, cognitive restructuring as underlying
Mhm.
methodologies. And I also, there are some answers that science does not have, that spirituality does. So I mix both up in order to provide a very holistic understanding of every life situation that my clients face and help them better understand the whys and hows of life.
Interesting that you mentioned that some of the stuff science cannot explain, and you talk about the spirituality part of it as well. I'm just curious, like, without breaking any confidentiality, is there any interesting cases that you might share where you actually had to use both the science and the spirituality to help your clients see that breakthrough?
A lot of clients come with background of past trauma or life experiences that have a deep
Hmm.
impression on their subconscious mind, and that is a root of a lot of feelings that they experience today. It may have been many years since that those incidents may have passed. So there is no logical explanation if you look through the eye of logic, but there is answers through spirituality that really satisfy them and help them to move forward, taking the best of what happened. So recently I had a client who was, for example, he was experiencing a lot of stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, and he was losing appetite. And when I really started to work with him, I came to understand that he was having visions. Every night when he went to sleep, he would have visions that would wake him up. And those visions were of his mother in Philippines dying, so for him it was a shock. He couldn't make sense of any of that. And he started to not try to fall asleep anymore because he was scared of sleeping. That started to happen quite frequently for quite a long time. While we can work on other aspects of his life, which is, how to guide him on a good sleeping patterns, or even stress management, appetite, all of that, the underlying problem still has to be addressed. And that is where spirituality helps. That is where a higher understanding of why things are happening, how to deal with them, it would impact them positively and help them to move forward. So that was the most recent one.
What practices are there to actually tap into that spiritual part of the awakening, I would say, for the client?
Once again, every individual's life story is very unique. When I start to work with clients, there is then a basic understanding, or I would say, of a deep understanding of all of these life experiences that they have had. It would help me to guide them in different directions of what that right direction for them to tap onto their higher purposes. There are many ways to do this. Some have experienced mindfulness practices, meditation practices. Some have done some sort of, for example, journaling, visualization, manifestation, journaling, mindfulness, meditation. These are methodologies or techniques to start that journey of finding a higher purpose and of your life. That's one part. And the second part is knowing yourself. That's actually something that comes last on the list of all of us in this busy world. We're always trying to be there for others. But honestly, that's where the journey starts. And when you start to take care, understand who you are, why you feel how you feel, and how you can control those feelings. Not control, but basically understand and make sense and take the best of those feelings. You understand your uniqueness and your unique capabilities, your unique strengths. Those are what you
Mm.
use in every aspect of your life. When you start to do that, you start to build what is called intuition or gut feel. Sometimes we say, I have a gut feel about this. It's not by
Yes.
chance, it's not by luck. There is a lot of meaning behind that. And that's how life is supposed to be led, by intuition, by the power of intuition. Life becomes very easy when you start to become more and more intuitive and start to follow your intuition, because your inner voice is the best. voice that you will hear.
I think that's so powerful because sometimes I feel a lot of people already know what they want to do. It's just the fear of doing it because maybe they're afraid of the consequences that might happen. So, kind of like conceptualizing it as like a gut feel, intuition, and really knowing oneself, I think that's a great starting point. So, what are some of the typical challenges your clients bring to you to coach around? And are there things that are really unique from people to people, or that like you see similar trends that comes across the different clients that you have?
The challenges that they bring, you can sort of, in a way, bucket them into certain, categories, but the source or the root of those challenges are highly unique. That is where my approach and my personalization, or individualism in terms of delivering the best for them has to come in. So, for example, it could be that clients could come in with, it's like a doctor, a physical doctor. If you go to a doctor with a stomach pain, yes, there could be others who would come with that same problem, that I have a tummy ache. But then the doctor is going to ask you a lot of questions and try to find out why you had it in the first place. But a really good doctor would go even back, all the way back into your history and your past, to see if there are trends, and there
Mm-hmm.
are genetics, or there are other influences that are that he sees a pattern. And he's going to try to, of course, he's going to give you a band-aid, solution, which is first of all, whatever you're facing, here's the medicine. But he's also going to give you life advice of, you should look into this, or you should look into this diagnosis, you should go for these follow-up tests. And he would probably give you even other advice for your overall lifestyle, like you should take care of your diet, or you should start to do this more, start to walk more, etc., socialize, etc. That is sort of what happens with my clients, where when they come in, it's all, it's either work stress, relationship issues. There's a lot, in I see a relationship, issues. It could be at home or at work. And then there's stress, of
Mm-hmm.
course. There is work-life balance. There is anxiety, panic. There is career, like unfulfilled career aspirations. So these are typically, or even, for example, on the executive side, there's leadership. Someone who's just become a new leader and who wants to learn how to lead well. So these are
Mm-hmm.
typically what you can, bucket them into. But again, it's just a starting point, and we go very, very deep into each story and try to really eliminate everything from the root, and give a very holistic overview of a solution to each client.
Right. I know you mentioned the root challenges are all unique to the individuals, but I'm just gonna push a bit there again and say, are there any themes you would say in terms of like personality themes or growing up themes that you see, which are really the root of the challenges that they are facing right now?
Sure. So essentially, there are two, I would say, two categories. So one is what I see is trauma. It could
Okay.
be childhood trauma, so it could be teenager, adolescents traumas that they have faced, or it could even be in adulthood. And that is sort of like a
Okay.
deep pain which stays with them. And a lot of the feelings are that's the root cause. That's one, I would say, bucket. The other
Mm,
is belief systems. So there are three types of belief systems. There is
mm,
family belief systems, there is tradition, religion, customs.
mhm,
That's the second bucket. And then there is your own belief systems that you form through your own life experiences. And all of these three belief
mm,
systems, that's the second bucket. Your feelings and your perception about the world can come from these, often come from these belief systems. So in my sessions, I do healthily challenge belief systems of clients, and we talk about it, and we see whether that's a limiting belief system, or it's helping propel them in life. And if it's a limiting one, we will question that, and we will establish an alternative belief system. So I would see
Mm.
these two.
Yeah, and I think the belief systems typically are the ones that hold the person back a lot, right? And from really fulfilling their full potential or doing what they want to do. So I'm curious because you also have a very impressive corporate portfolio. How does all your professional background influence or bring additional value to the coaching that you practice?
In two ways, I would say. The first way is, of course, in skills that I have amassed through my professional journey, which I'm very grateful for. And these are both hard skills as well as, so it could be, for example, presentation skills at as a consultant, or it could be soft skills like leadership, team building, or even communication, how to communicate well. So storytelling, and so on and so forth. So these are like in one category. The other is through the course of my professional journey, I have also faced challenges similar to what my clients bring.
Mm.
And I have, through my own methodologies, and I've done a lot of A B testing on myself for my challenges to see what works best, because I have a very scientific mind that way, and I don't accept things that I have not felt that, or I have not experimented with, and I don't have a clear result for. And those are challenges like workplace stress, work-life balance, relationships at work, even bringing home work, and that affecting relationships. So these are some areas where I feel that my own personal experiences are very relatable to my clients, and I often share personal stories which really inspire them in the right way. Yeah.
I'm curious about the A/B testing because you hear that a lot in product development, tech companies. How does that work out for one of the personal challenges that you might have? And maybe that can inspire some of our audience as well to do some testing themselves.
Sure. I've actually A/B tested a lot of, for example, the ones that I can remember where I've done this the most is mindfulness and meditation. So when you hear the word meditation, all the practices, a lot of the practices out there talk about the mind stopping thoughts and having a blank space during your meditation
Mm,
practice. And I have picked up each meditation technique that I could come across, and I fundamentally believed that there is something there, and it can help me deal with the stress I was facing back then, and I was under a lot of stress. So I wanted to see what's working and why it doesn't work if it doesn't. So I would pick up each meditation technique and I would experiment, and I would note down what works in that, what doesn't. And often, what I found the hardest was stopping my thoughts, because in the moment,
mm,
in that duration, you would be able to, sure, but after that, I would go back to my stress. So it wasn't long
mm,
lasting. It was very temporary, and I started to do this one after the other. I would pick up anyone who would mention I have done this meditation or there is this meditation. Anyone would refer it, or I would read online. I would come across it. I would sign up for it, and I would test it out. Uh, and what I realized after all of these, you know, I would say tens of techniques that I've tested, maybe even in the late tens, touching 100. What I've realized is that um, it's sort of like saying, if it's meditation techniques are telling me to stop my thoughts, it's sort of like saying that I have a mouth, but I can't speak. I don't speak. Sure, that will save energy for some time, but
mm.
I have to then resort to speaking. That's why the mouth is designed in the first place. So, in the same way, the mind is meant to think. If I
Mhm.
um, if I practice stopping my thoughts, I can do that during the course of my meditation hour, but after that, my mind is going to start go back into doing what it's meant to do, which is thinking. And so that's not probably where I found the right way to do it until I landed on it, until there, until there was one which I could relate to, and in fact, even now I'm meditating. I'm in meditative state. So if I want the whole day, whenever I want, even if I'm in the middle of a crowd, or I'm talking, or I'm presenting, or I'm working, I can be in a meditative state. If whenever I feel I'm not so peaceful. And so I found this only after a lot of experimentation with the other practices.
I'm curious if it's something that you can share, the kind of state that you're in. I know it might be different for for different people, but I'm just curious if it's something that you could share in terms of like what is this practice that you've come across?
Sure, it's actually the oldest meditation practice in the whole world. It stems from India,
Mm,
and it talks about thoughts. It talks about the mind. Again, the mind is meant to think, but the quality of thoughts that you think determines everything after. It determines how you feel, it determines how you behave, what you talk, how your relationships are, what your personality is, and what your habits are. So
mm,
thoughts are the root. And in this meditation, in these meditation practices, we don't aim to stop or control our thoughts. We change the quality of those thoughts. In a day, a human mind
mm,
creates 60,000 thoughts. 98% of those thoughts are in the category of waste or negative. The 2% of the
mm,
thoughts that we create are positive or neutral thoughts, and those 2% give us all the peace, happiness, and fulfillment and contentment and positive feelings that we are feeling today. Just 2%. That is the capacity and capability of the human mind. So if we start to change even some of the thoughts in the whole day, we are going to experience a huge magnitude of a difference of good feelings that we are. And in these practices, it aims to change. And when you do that, you move from 60,000 thoughts. So you could move, you'd notice that when you're thinking a lot of waste or negative, your mind runs. It's creating a lot of thoughts at that
mhm.
point. So typically, if you break down 60,000 a day, it would be 45 thoughts a minute. If you sit with yourself for a minute and notice those 45 thoughts that run in your mind, you would see how much of those are actually productive. And so the other 98%
Wow.
of those 45 thoughts drain your energy. They make you unproductive. They make you slower. They make you inefficient. And so in this
Mm.
meditation practices, we try to transform that on a continuous journey. We try to transform that into the positive or the right thoughts for you. It works with the method of substitution, not elimination of thoughts.
That sounds very powerful because really a lot of times your thoughts are running wild, like thinking about the past, the things that you could have done, thinking about the future, like what I need to do. So yeah, just becoming more productive in your thoughts. I think that's something that's really very powerful. For listeners who might be interested in coaching, but feel a bit hesitant, what would you say to them?
I would say that listen to your gut, your intuition. All of us are going through life challenges today, but only a few have the courage and the strength to make a change. It requires courage to make any sort of change in our life. We can be in our comfort zones, that's fine. We can be comfortable
Mm,
feeling those feelings. That's what most of us, unfortunately, that's where we are. But if you get a thought to do it, it means you have that inner capability, strength, and courage to make that change in your life and to get over the feelings that you don't want to feel. So take that leap, listen to your intuition, and know that this is just the start. And there is a beautiful journey that's awaiting you of self realization, higher purpose, that this is just the starting point of. So I would say go ahead and take that leap. And you can always discontinue. If you feel uncomfortable at any point and you don't want to do it, sure, you can always discontinue. There's no one tying you back, but try it out.
Great. I like that. Follow your gut. I think you already know. Connect with Avantika on Coach Fellas. Avantika offers free intro call to explore coaching with her. She also offers one-to-one sessions, the 60 minutes. It could be 1 hour, one off. It could be 4 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours to 16 hours coaching packages as well. Thank you, Avantika, for being on Thrive Talks with Coaches. It was a pleasure talking to you and sharing and hearing all your insights about your coaching practice.
Same here. It's a pleasure to be part of your platform. Thank you so much for having me here.